Hi, this is Tactical Reserves. I'm Brinks.
I'm Zach.
I'm Troy.
I'm Amble.
And I'm Chad.
And this week, we are going to be discussing the main focus will be the better units in 9th edition after having a couple weeks of playtesting under our belts. Kind of the units that maybe people are sleeping on, maybe, or they're just not talking about, or the perspective of actually playing 9th and knowing what's good versus what on paper seems bad if you've only been playing 8th edition games. But first, we're going to do This Week in Hobbying. Anvil, what have you been doing this week?
This week I built another Archaeopter Stratoraptor, the new AdMech plane. Got it primed, and it's about ready for paint. As soon as I can get down to holding brushes again, I'll be ready to paint on it.
Hell yeah. Zach?
I put together a couple of Alaris Terminators, trying to get my squads of those guys up. Those guys are real good.
And a Telemann.
And a Telemann.
Yeah. That's pretty dope. How about Chad?
I painted this week. I painted a Intercessor Sergeant. I finished the shield on my captain, and I have half of my intercessors put together and put on the base.
So these are only rumored paint jobs, because I haven't seen a picture in the Facebook chat either.
Pixar didn't happen.
Pixar didn't happen, bro.
The old lady confirmed.
She did.
She
but
confirmed you were playing WoW when you should have been playing.
Yeah,
She confirmed the one unit.
She said, I think, one model.
She saw me finished in that model, which I is technically not done because I need red.
Pixar didn't happen, bro. We'll put it on the Twitter page.
Okay.
All right, Troy, what have you been up to this week?
I'm about.
Other than playing PlayStation.
I've been doing a lot of that. I'd say I'm about 75% done with my second Skull Cannon. I built some racks. I kind of want to play Dark Eldar again, but so great.
Oh yeah, well that's still cool.
Yeah, so that'll give me the ability to take 3 patrols, which I think is going to be huge for Dark Eldar in the future.
Oh, for all the different cults or whatever.
Well, yeah, because they made it so if you take 3 patrols, you get +4 command points. Then you get one of them for free, so you actually doesn't cost you any command points to take 3 patrols.
Yeah.
But I needed troops for so I could take Talos.
Okay,
So
right on, dude.
Rex.
Right on.
Those tiles are sweet, so.
I'm
They're
stoked.
not as sweet as they used to be, but they are sweet.
I'd be stoked to see Dark Eldar on the table. We just had one of the really active members of our group pick up Tau as well.
Yeah.
So we will be more educated this time around when we start discussing Tau and hopefully Eldar. I painted 2 Doomsday Arcs this week and finally got my airbrushing on and figured that out. So prepping for that 24-hour stream, and I'm gonna try to paint like 2,700 points of Necrons, because that's what it is.
That'll be a challenge.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of Necrons.
We'll see how it goes. But next week I will definitely have hobbied my ass off. Yeah, but let's go ahead and go into the games we played this week. What games happened that we are going to discuss? I know Zach and Troy, because that is a very unique sounding game.
And then Anvil and Zach happened.
Anvil and Zach happened as well. Okay, well let's start with Anvil and Zach.
Yeah, well, I played AdMech again. This time I tried a slightly different list than I'd been playing. In that, I was under 2,000 points. Well, it turns out someone made an update to Battlescribe based on a leak that the twin heavy phosphor blasters were 0 points on the robots. Well, robots don't have twin heavy phosphor blasters; they just have 3 heavy phosphor blasters. So they reduced the price up by like 45 points. And I didn't pay attention when I was putting them in the Battlescribe because we were playing like 1,800 points or whatever. So I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 1,800 points. Well, I was like 360 points shy on robots. So it was like, so I was slightly over on points. But this week I tried 2 of the Stratoraptors, the gunship planes. I tried a squad of 3 Iron Strider Ballistari, which are the chicken walkers with the autocannons on them.
Yeah.
And 2 squads of the Cerberus Raiders, which are the new horse.
Been hearing a lot about them.
And to try to just make my army more mobile, I played 3 squads of Breachers, Call, 4 robots, 2 mortar boats. I think that was kind of my list. And the idea was to try to, because I'm not gonna lie, I hate the secondaries in 9th edition so far. I just feel like they're all bad.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing that I feel good about taking. There's nothing that I feel like, oh well, that's gonna be something I can do easily. Like every one just seems like a struggle for me to try to eke any points out of.
You should know that we played with the tournament pack. Not the normal 8.
Yeah, we played with the new GT pack that's been released. So, I was just looking at it, and I'm looking at playing against Custodes, which is, super durable, and it's like, Zach has 2 characters, he's got 2 vehicles, that's it. So it's like, assassinate 6 points, even if I do it. If I kill 2 captains on Dawn Eagle jet bikes, one of which has a 5-up feel no pain, it's like, and if I pick that, he can just keep them with either Terminators or his Custodian Guard or whatever, and just keep them with stuff so I can't ever shoot them.
Yeah.
And then they get to choose their combat. They can consolidate 6 inches and not consolidate near the closest model, so he can just dive into combat, murder something, and then run away. So
only one can do that. And it's 3 plus D3, not total 6.
But you still, it's like it's not something I really want to. I was like, well, that doesn't seem great. The other one is kill vehicles, which is Telemon Dreadnoughts. So, which also, not great. Strength 8 or toughness 8, 2 up, 4 up.
Yeah.
Like he can have the damage on it. He can make your weapons -1 in strength against it. It's like it's just like none of the options felt good.
None of the kill options. I feel like
Actually,
you're still stuck on killing.
Even like the raise the banner with the shadow operations ones, where you raise banners and things like that. My only 3 troop choices are all Cadillacs. So do I really want to take a turn? And like they're not super durable, but they have an invulnerable, but it's like a 6-up. But it's like he can just go in there and like any one of his units just waylays my stuff. So it's like, do I really like raise but they're not super mobile either. So it's like raise the banners doesn't seem great. But I knew what I could do was engage on all fronts when I built this list, the new recon.
Yeah.
Because it counts aircraft. So like I got the 2 Stratoraptors, I got 3 fast attack units. I'm gonna try to get up the field, and at least I'll be able to get recon points, and then we'll see what I can kill after that. But just the way 9th edition seems to play out, at least for AdMech, it's all about holding the primary objectives. Holding more points. And we did one with 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
So and the mission was you got 2 points. The secondary for the mission was, if you want to choose it, you got 2 points for holding an objective outside of your deployment zone, and 3 points for the one inside your opponent's deployment zone. So you could get a maximum of 7 points a turn if you control the 3 that that were out, which not very likely, but I mean it can happen. So I ended up choosing that one because I'm not, like I said, the killy ones. It came down to kill 2 characters, kill 2 vehicles.
Yeah, they seem bad for that.
Neither of them are great.
Yeah.
Like slay the warlord maybe, but his warlord's still super durable.
Yeah, I think that would be an even worse choice.
Yeah. So I was like, I chose the vehicles because he can't ever keep me from shooting his vehicles. His reds, like they're got enough ones I can always just at least shoot at them. And I did not kill one, so that didn't work out. But starting the game, I started with the Cerberus Raiders. I went first. I ran my Raiders up on both objectives because before the game they get to move as if it's the movement phase, and they have a 12-inch move.
That's amazing.
And you can advance.
It's so good.
And you can advance, so you can, because it's as if it's the movement phase, so I can move them up to 18 inches if I rolled well. But
yikes!
The issue I found with them, especially against Custodes, is they're only T3 with a 4-up save. So they take damage pretty consistent.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they're a normal Warhammer model. Like those are regular decent stats.
But I'm saying they run forward, so they're in. They're like in the business. So they eat what they're. They're not like Zach's jet bikes, for instance, which are super mobile, but you got to work to kill them.
They're not moving 18 inches.
Well, they're also not fucking.
Like
how many points are a jet bike compared to a Cerberus Raider?
You're talking about a 95-point model.
A 44 points or 45 points for a squad.
So 15-point model.
So
Yeah.
you get like 6 of them.
So yeah, there's a difference there.
Yeah, but they just turned out to not be, like, they got me the objective points on the first turn,
Yeah.
or the second turn, the start of the second turn.
Right.
So, you know, I ran them out and got them on objectives. I started moving robots to one side. I started moving my, you know, my planes obviously went back into his quarters. The Iron Striders went out around one side, and I ended up having to hold my breachers back because Zach had put his Terminators on the battlefield and he put them basically right behind the L in the middle. So on his turn, he could have basically advanced to the middle, or he could actually not advance. He could just walk through and charged into my guys. So I was like, I just don't want to roll my guys forward into his Terminators, which are going to
Delete it.
delete
anything
everything they touch.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get a chance to roll them out and get them shooting and stuff.
Yeah.
So I put like 4 wounds on a dreadnought, and I killed a squad of guard with the robots. And Zach went, the guard rolled forward, they charged into my Cerberus Raiders and deleted them. And then Zach was on 3 points, and I could never get him off.
Yeah.
And that was the crux of the game, that I don't like the way that AdMech is lining up with the secondaries. Especially, I mean, it might just be the opponents I'm playing against right now, because I played against Troy's army.
You're playing against super durable armies.
Well, and like Troy's discussed in the past, the new detachments, the way they're trying to get people into single detachments, people are only bringing like 2 HQs and a couple vehicles. There's just not a lot of good choices to make in secondaries. You know, like Troy's list he played against Zach was 2 characters.
I always take 3.
Oh, he had 3 characters but no vehicles.
But they were all.
I don't
greater
have vehicles in my
units.
army.
Yeah, but he had, you know, he had chariots. They weren't vehicles; they were chariots. So it's like he had 3 characters. That's it. So like even if you take assassinate,
yeah, that's just good. That's good list construction, though.
yeah,
like,
but
I mean, I don't have vehicles in my army. Like, they just don't exist.
yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
but I'm saying if you look at the things that are like the best thing. You know, some of the like I was playing against Zach, the thin the ranks is not good. He has 20 models.
Yes, that is not built for fighting custodians.
Yeah,
in any edition.
No.
ever.
So there's no good secondaries. I felt like I could
But you
choose.
can still, I mean, you'd have to table them. But you could probably get like 7, 8 points out of it.
I think. Well,
It's not when you're.
Amble's frustration is that
No, I'm
none of the secondaries can.
And that's
None
not
of the-
technically true. That's just kind of part of the way you built your list.
well.
Because infantry is big in a lot of these secondaries, and you didn't bring any infantry to play those secondaries.
Well, but I don't feel like even if I had.
Well, that's a different. Yeah,
No,
maybe.
but even if I do, like, that's not what my army does well. It doesn't like take an objective and sit there and hold it, because like I'm gonna run some
Well-
crappy vanguards out there, and then Zach's 3 custodian guard are gonna come in there and whack them to death.
well, that's my question. So, what was your list, Zach? So we have a point of reference for
We
this.
haven't really heard from Zach on this.
I had played a patrol. I had 2 shield captains on Donegal Drake Pike. 2 3-man custodian guard squads, all with shields and swords. And I had a squad of 4 Praetors, all with hurricane bolters. Both my shield captains had the salvo launchers. And then I played a unit of 6 Valorous custodians and 2 Telemann dreads. I cut the Vexilla, which is pretty much standard issue for custodies. I just wanted to try out. I'm okay with people shooting at the Terminators, I think, because they're super durable.
Yeah.
Well, and he's
They're
got a lot
slow.
of tricks.
That's kind of where you wanted to go.
Like, I like the Vexilla teleport homer. It's great. Like, getting your 3-inch charge is amazing, but I don't know if it's necessary. Like, I really don't enjoy it. Like, the -1 to hit's not as useful as it used to be, because now terrain can give you -1 to hit and stuff like that. And the game's all about playing in the middle, so I don't know if I need to really deep strike on them. So I'm trying it out without the Vexilla. It was my biggest difference in a normal list.
And what was the guard portion?
No, that was... He's talking about custodian guard.
Oh, okay. So I mean,
Squad of 3 dudes.
so
Yeah,
I just want to
they're
say
hard to
that
kill.
as soon as I hear that list, though, like I'm just gonna kill his flying units. Like just kill the 4 bikes. And he's got 2 captains.
Well, but
Nothing else can run the table.
He deep struck the bikes.
Yeah,
Deep strike the bikes.
I do deep strike the bikes pretty much every game.
So they're not on the board.
Well, then, I mean, there's no mobility on the first turn, really.
No, and there's not, but there's going to be on the later. But the table's much smaller. He
Yeah.
deploys in the front because you can never just kill his shit. It's super durable.
I mean, the entire game is based around playing on the middle of the board.
Yeah.
So instead of hiding my guys back in cover, I'm setting them on the line. And until I get punished for doing so, I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah,
But
but,
this guy's got a
but that
2 up, 4
army
up.
doesn't even. That army just like only has what 8, 9 units total.
I don't know, like
Close to
7.
that.
Seven,
But-
seven.
but-
So like
but-
you can
and
only
like his
control
Termin-
so
like
much
his
more.
Terminators, he can use transhuman physiology.
I think you
You
just
can
have to
fit on
ignore.
any of the
Yeah,
customers.
I think you just ignore the big Terminator blob. You just
Yeah,
can't
I mean,
kill
his
it.
strike range for that is outside of the bikes is like 6 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The issue is,
So I mean,
once he gets to the middle of the board, I can't ever dig him out.
but you don't have to. The objectives weren't even in the middle of the board.
Well, but he got to the edges with his guard, and I couldn't get him out. I shot at him like they were -1 to hit because the objectives are over near woods. So he just put his guard in cover, his custodian guard, so they have like a 2 up against everything. And then I just could never dig anything out.
Yeah.
Like my army didn't have anything like it was like -4 to hit. Like they have all storm shields and they're -1 to hit in the woods, and you're just trying to dig these things out, and just I can't ever. He's just army super durable. I can't get him out of where they.
I mean, I think that's just a Custodes thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a
Well, and-
Admix bad.
I mean, Custodes and Death Guard specifically were like they got all the new tricks and all the CPs to do the tricks. So since we've been playing, this playstyle has not existed. Like when I started playing, that's what I wanted to do was like be like, you can't kill it, figure it out, and it didn't exist.
Did you
It did
like-
not exist.
You do like the dirtle and everything.
Oh hell yeah! And you on the flip side are like fucking Mr. Castellan, Mr. like murder everything on the table, and now all of a sudden like we don't get paid. There's no payoff for murder at all in this one.
There's no payoff for murder, and my army
Can't believe this statement's been said.
and my
Yeah.
my army is not durable in holding objectives and fighting. So that's where
I mean, it is if it's not Terminators.
no,
Like
I'm just saying, I can't custodian guard. They were just like 3 dudes standing over there, like.
Custodian Guard, like one of the strongest units
Yeah,
compared to
but I'm
any
saying-
other troops.
But it's like
They'll take out anything.
I mean, as I was saying, I haven't played against like guardsmen, obviously, but I mean,
yeah, against Guardsmen, they would not.
Even Marines don't stand a chance against Custodian Guard. It's like
yeah,
it's not what
But I just
They are a
they're
threat.
basically tanks.
I,
They're
They have
annoying.
better
I
saves
just-
than
I
tanks.
feel like 9th edition, coming from 8th to 9th. 8th edition was you could take an army and kill units and control the board via shooting. I don't think that's the case in 9th edition.
I think that's a good thing.
Well, I'm
There's
not.
a lot of armies that just don't have good shooting.
And you gotta
But
remember.
there are also armies like mine that don't have a lot of good melee.
You don't have to have good melee to control the board.
But the Goonhammer guys were having a discussion about this today, and armies that are efficient in combat, they start to feel like they're advantaged in 9th edition because they charge a unit on an objective, and then they kill the unit, and then they have the objective.
Right.
If you're a shooting army, you shoot somebody off the point, then you got to march over there next turn.
Yeah, but if you're a shooting army, you shoot them off the point and they can't hold the point.
Yeah, they don't have it either.
Like you don't have to touch them to kill them. Like
And
if you're a
good
shooting army, like the
you'll have
counter
your
argument
unit
is
close to
you
get
can
that objective.
you've got 24 inches of auto counted movement. The melee army had to slog through. Like I mean, I think sure if it's in the where they're both at the objective but not on it in that one specific situation, yeah, melee armies have an advantage.
No,
Outside of
it's just that they're more mobile in getting
But
the
that's
objectives.
always
and
been
taking
the
objectives.
advantage for melee armies.
Yeah.
Like that's nothing.
Well,
new.
but then it's a bigger issue. It's a bigger advantage in 9th edition
And it was an 8th edition.
Sure.
than it was in 8th edition.
But shooting was objectively best
Yeah,
in 8th edition, so
but I feel like
so it's like
yeah.
it's swapped a
I
little.
feel like AdMech is good at shooting things,
It's-
but not good at being super mobile and durable. Like my most durable unit is my Castellan robots, which are good, and I think they're we'll discuss later are really good in 9th edition, but they don't have enough impact on the. I mean, they can like control an area, but they can't get out and like hold objectives quickly.
yeah.
So it takes a while to get them going if you're going that route. Where, other armies
So are dragoons back on the table as a possible unit?
I just don't think
Because when they touch shit, they put out
They're
the
fast.
Well, they
melee
don't
unit.
anymore though.
The rules did not treat them well.
I think
They used to explode.
yeah.
on a 6
oh yeah,
up.
you can't stack it.
Well,
right?
yeah, now and then you can give it +2 to hit.
Yeah, never
But now
mind.
you
I
get-
forgot you
not-
can't do the stacks to hit.
Not only can you not stack the hit, it's on unmodified 6s.
Yeah.
But they're
So
still
it's-
strength 8.
Strength
Minus
8, -1.
2 damage.
2 damage.
Yeah,
So they'll
they
still
did.
kill a lot of things.
Yeah, the exploding
Yes.
fours though.
That's what made
were
them
what made
really
Well,
them-
because they only had 3
Gross.
attacks. So, like, you couldn't kill, like, lots of things unless you exploded. But now that you can't explode,
Yeah, but nobody's playing lots of things either.
Yeah.
well, but I'm saying, like, we talked kind of before the podcast, where about, like, you know, maybe Tyranids holding objectives.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, they will never clear squad Tyranids off. They just don't have enough attacks. They just-
But that's
the
why
rest of
Tyranids
the
will never bring them down either. So
no, but I mean, yeah, but
So anyway, I guess the game obviously Zach planted. It sounds like he just planted his feet and was able to hold it for the game.
I pretty much just walked towards the Anvil's deployment zone the entire game.
Yep.
He took the objectives on the first turn, and I
knocked me off of them. And
I
then,
got to charge into him on the second, and then I just left those guys there and walked my Terminators all the way across the board.
and I
I
could
took his point, and I took the secondary that he scored 2 points for outside your deployment zone, and 3 point on his.
Yeah.
Just walk my Terminators to his and kill everything on it.
you strike the bikes and kind of took them
Yeah,
off.
deep.
Came from behind, boom, there you go.
Well,
It's
Yeah,
over.
it seems like everybody that I've been playing against, you're constantly moving everything towards the front of the board. Like, you're trying to get to the middle. Because you have to have units on objectives. Like, you have to do it. Or you just get buried in primaries. Well, people are starting to... They're not screening their back lines anymore.
Yeah.
And you're... Everybody, even I'm doing it, where you're leaving units on the objective, but they're not durable enough. So my bikes come in behind somebody, and that's how I've won the last couple games, is drop in my big unit of bikes, clear that back objective, their home objective, and take it, and then now you're winning in primary.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even matter what the secondaries are anymore. Once you get back there, you knock them off that, instead of fighting in the middle. Like, the Terminators are going to hold the middle. Nobody's going to beat a big squad of Alerus Terminators.
Yeah.
So,
Getting 4 bikes in the back of your army is really, really bad.
And I will say that like the I've been looking at like Thousand Suns lists, like they would decimate Custodes. Like it would not be close. Like
I don't think Custodies are like...
I'm saying they're balanced. Is what I'm saying. They do have like there are definite
Their
flaws to
biggest
the
buff
army.
is that they get 12 command points.
They
Like,
get,
that was their
they
problem
get 12
before.
command points. They're super durable and super mobile the
Yeah.
way you can build them. So, like, which I think all is a big bonus in 9th edition.
Oh,
Stories
absolutely.
Yeah, like...
Like that was their
Tell them
biggest
that-
problem in 8th edition of not being good, was that they were
Yeah, they just...
too hindered on command
And
points.
strong command points.
You were hamstring
Like
the command points. They weren't particularly good in
Well,
shooting.
and their Psychic Awakening was
Yeah, they got some.
Yeah, the
they
second-
needed it. They needed
But
that.
Second
they-
Awakening was really, really good.
They didn't particularly shoot well. I mean, they shoot well. They hit on twos and stuff, but they don't have a lot of AP and stuff. So,
Yeah.
like they were kind of like armies that really, really shot well could handle Custodes. And now that shooting's a little less important, and mobility and combat's important, that's what Custodes excel at.
Yeah, for me
and they're super
personally,
durable.
like even playing Necrons, like I would much rather throw my Necrons against his Custodes list though than your AdMech list because I have a lot of low quantity, high quality firepower. So I would much rather prefer to shoot at the army that has like 30 models total and have my 3 and
They had
D3
like 20 models.
20. You know what I'm saying?
30. Let's not go 30.
But my army is more tailored to that. Now obviously when I play against you, like sure I could get lucky and roll hot, but like it's your quality of shots go up significantly against anything in the Necroni range and Space Marine range. Like I think if you play
What's
against
in
Space
anything
Marine,
in the killable range.
the middle, if you're middle tier stuff, I think your army shines in the mid tier style armies. Like I think it's probably worse against hordes because you don't have any mass firepower. And it
Well-
obviously sucks
Well, I
versus
can take
super
the
durable.
robot. The robots can put down.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So you're just
The problem
it's
is,
just
the
not the
problem is I'm
tanks,
shooting the robots at things that are T6 and T8.
and they 2-ups.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it's. I mean, that makes every army feel bad.
Zach brought your own strategy against you. His whole army was T5. It's like you've been doing.
well, and
It sucks,
and
doesn't it?
then I didn't this time. I bought a bunch of I bought some T3 stuff and ran it
I
forward.
wouldn't say a bunch, but
Well, but I tried it. You know, I tried some things that worked.
The games that have been played recently have been super durable armies versus AdMech. Like, Troy played them with a bunch of greater demons, which is those things are impossible to kill.
Yeah.
And then I played him with Custodes, which are really hard to kill.
And I played him with a very elite Necron list, so...
and not only
So it's like, he feels like his firepower is not doing enough, but if you were to play against somebody that wasn't playing something that's super elite, it would probably feel a lot better.
But I just feel like, you know, when I look at the games, like I said, I don't like none of the secondary choices. Like against Zach, I built the list. I was like, engage on all fronts is where my jam is, and I got 13 points out of it.
Nice. That's
Great.
awesome.
But Zach had the same problem with his secondary. I think that's just everybody's secondary.
Actually, we have totally misjudged while we stand, we fight. I think that secondary might be one of the best secondaries, at least coming from a Custodes player, because I picked my 2 Telemann Dreads and my Warlord, who's got a 3-up, 5-up Feel No Pain.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not going to kill 2 Dreadnoughts unless you have a lot of anti-tank.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty easily getting 10 points
I
out
got
of
it.
that.
And you basically hid your Dreadnoughts
Oh, you,
the first turn because you knew he was coming back.
yeah, I'm getting to the point now where I just put the big gun on the Dreadnought and leave it on my home point. Because then if I get deep struck on, you're not killing the Dreadnought.
Yeah.
He's not objective secured, which is kind of wonky, but like you can just sit back there and shoot at the middle of the board. His range is good enough for that. I mean, it kind of sucks that you're losing 260 points for that, but at the same time, you're not losing that objective. If anybody wants to come back there and rumble with him, he can take care of himself, and then you just run the other one out until it's dead.
Yeah.
And you just have the damage on it every turn.
That makes
Hope
sense.
it explodes when it
Well,
dies.
Well, and if they shoot it with anything good, he can also reduce the strength on it. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, oh, here's some T8 shots, and you're like, nah.
Yeah.
He's
No,
T8
it's
and
it's a
Shadow.
good it's a good army.
Well, and I quit playing neuron lasers on my Doom Crawlers. I didn't play any Doom Crawlers this game.
yeah.
But I quit playing those for Icarus arrays and stuff. Well, I don't have anything in my army that's above -2. So, like, Zach just...
Yeah, so that's really bad for you.
And I have no T8
But
shots.
-3 doesn't matter because he just goes right into his 4 vulnerable.
Yeah.
So that's
Fair.
but -2 is fine.
But the only thing I
Minus
have...
2 is fine, except when you're shooting at Terminators, then I just make it.
well,
Then I
yeah,
just
but
ignore it and install
Yeah.
a 2-up.
Ugh.
those are Terminators.
Yeah, those,
Yeah.
the Terminator stratagem is so good.
Yeah, that's a really
So
good.
it just,
It's
it just
really
like my
good.
army lacks... I just feel like my army's in a weird place right now where I lack a lot of durability. And,
Firepower means nothing.
yeah,
I don't think it means
not nothing. But
It,
it's
it
not as
means a
effective.
lot less than it did.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find ways to get forward, and Troy shit on him every time I played him, the Electro Priests and Dune Riders, but I think I'm going to have to go back to that just to be able
I
to
don't really shit on. I just think they don't get enough out of them.
But I mean, I think I agree. I like
think-
Electro Priest. I think that is the right state of mind
That was
to
8th
be in.
edition.
I think-
you haven't played them in 9th
I think
edition.
transports with those guys in them are great. 'Cause
Yeah,
you just go
you
park the
basically
transport
have to
then.
play that way right now.
Yeah,
Is
That's
and I
really
think
good. If
This
your guys aren't
transport, come get
durable,
it. Like, yeah.
yeah, if your guys aren't durable enough to stand there on the objective, put them in a truck.
yeah,
Like,
And you can get out of your truck for free with no losses,
No
right?
penalties.
So you guys-
Yeah.
So you don't
For
even
0 CP.
You don't even want them to get out. You
Yeah,
want
that's
them to
good.
blow up the transport, and then you're just like, yeah, whatever, I get out.
and you're like, surprise, motherfucker.
now that turns your transport into like what 20, 30 wounds or whatever of guys.
Yeah, and those guys can be, if they kill a unit on an objective, you can spend 2 CP, and they basically have a 2-up and vulnerable and a 5-up fuel up.
so that seems
It's gross.
Yeah, I think
if
the
you
problem
don't,
is
I don't think you really want to try and kill them.
you had a shit ton of games under your belt with AdMech, right? Like you were crushing in 8th edition, and now in 9th edition, like it's like relearning the game. It's like
Well-
everything that was good is not good.
Yeah,
Really, I mean,
and it's 8th edition doesn't really translate to 9th edition because the scoring is so much different. From
yeah,
what we played previous.
everything's different. It's crazy.
Well,
like,
I mean, the army's kind of really the game plays the same way. It's pretty much 9th edition with a few tweaks, or is 8th edition with a few tweaks. You know, like pretty much the mechanics are all the same.
I mean, it's still Warhammer, but
Yeah.
the things you prioritize are not the same
the
at
thing-
all.
The priorities are different. Like,
And the armies are all different,
And,
especially with points adjustments.
Yeah.
The points really change things.
And we've had so many Psychic Awakenings come out with no tournaments that there's just been no adjustment. Nobody knows how to handle. Nobody knows the
The
counters to
big
this
bulk
stuff.
of all the new stuff came out with no tournaments going on.
And so there's no like right now we're slogging through like finding tech before the internet. You know what I mean? Like right now, because like people can test it, but if it's not a tournament setting, it's really not tried and true.
Right.
So it's just like slogging through so much shit.
and this game also I played Mars to try
Yes. How did that go?
out. Not great.
Oh, damn it!
Because because
New model syndrome?
no. It's just as I played Call with the robots
I think you had a copter left.
Because you
and
know,
mechanical.
Custodians have a stratagem to negate rerolls, so he pays all these points for call, and you're just like,
No rerolls. No rerolls for you, sir.
You're like, oh, you want to shoot the robots at this? Yeah, no rerolls.
Okay, so that game sounds rough.
But the mechanical was because you can basically all the Forge worlds have their own like canticle.
Yeah, we've been over
You
that.
can replace one of the canticles with the Mars one. The Mars one is +1 strength to heavy weapons and no heavy weapon penalty.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, that makes a lot of T7 weapons T8 and a lot of T67.
and it
It's like
completely
you're-
negates the reason I play Shadowkeepers.
It's like your army got to the stadium early and waited on the other guys to get off the bus, and then when Zach's guys got off the bus, they were like, "Oh my God, look at those guys that just got."
Well,
scared."
that's like, I mean, to be fair, that is right now. Everybody agrees Custodes are the boogeyman. So they're the army that you don't have, that nobody has. Once the tech is found out, because there will be tech for Custodes, they're limited still by model count,
Yes.
and that's a huge hamstring once people figure out how to beat it efficiently. It's just figuring out the right combination of things to allocate to Custodes and still have a functional army. Because a lot of the things that work on Custodes are going to work on vehicles, so you just have to like figure those out and deal with it. It's just hard because, like I said, we're moving in slow motion. Like by now, there'd be three tournaments that happened,
So-
and you would know.
Yeah. So I tried Mars because I knew it would give me. I played Call, which is you got to pay 205 points now for Call. So.
Hey, cost as much as a Demon Prince.
Yeah. And he
Oh,
kills
God.
zero. He kills
That's
zero.
my salt
and he
shaker.
kills 0 things. Demon Prince can skill things.
Maybe.
So I paid for Call and the Mechanical, and it gives you access to Wrath of Mars, which is good,
Yeah.
and it killed a few Terminators,
It did.
but
Zach ran him into a kill box and that went bad.
I was pretty sad about that. I was overconfident and got 3 of them. Half my squad melted.
Zach charged him through the wall and all of Animal's army backed up into a circle and yeah, it was,
And he killed 3 models.
He's like, "I'm going through this wall."
yeah.
Oh no!
But so
That's like 30% of your army, though.
I mean, it was
500 point unit.
It was like 225 points. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was
But,
a lot.
Not great.
So I think going forward, the list I've been looking at here is I'm not sure about the Cerberus Raiders. The scout move's really good, and they can pistol characters. They get to shoot characters without penalty. But they're T3 with a 4-up, 6-up. I just don't know how durable they're going to be in 9th edition, especially because what I'm looking at them for is running and getting them out on objectives.
I think you just need them for a turn.
Yeah.
Basically,
yeah, 45 points, maybe you run more than the minimum.
Like-
Maybe you run like 6
Well,
and 10.
the issue is the best units I have all went up exponentially in price. So, like, if I want to play 4 robots, that's 500 points. If you want to play any number of murder boats, the mortar boats, they are
150.
150 now a piece when they went up 50%. So, like, it really kind of, and then like my troops, I paid 205 points for Call. Then you got to pay 90 for a Dominus. So it's like you start looking at it, and then it's like, okay, well, if you want to play Breachers, or if you even like a 10-man squad of Vanguard, are like 100 points.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
you're like-
that's everybody's army. Like,
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like,
So, I
everybody
start,
got that
so
except
you start trying to build a battalion. You're like, well, I got 400 points. I got 600 points in just a battalion of just playing like 2 HQs and 3 basic troops.
yeah.
And then it's like if you play 500 points of robots, then how much room do you have to?
900 points left to play your planes and whatever.
Well, yeah.
Well, maybe you didn't play a patrol and cut down on breach and make a big squad of breachers.
I think it's
Then you only need 1 each.
So I think my next list is going to be Data Horde Forge World again. So I play Breachers because I think the Breachers are good when they explode on 5s and 6s, which is what the custom Forge World you can do. Cut Call because that just saves you a big chunk of points.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to pay 500 points for 4 robots, I can pay 500 points and play a Night Crusader. I mean, it costs 3 CP, but
That's actually valid, though.
it's probably the same amount of firepower.
That was one thing that he took away from the game was a fistful of command points. He didn't spend
Yeah.
command points on
I
hard.
think he had 80 left in the game and he was trying
Because there was like nothing to spend it on. It's like, oh well, I failed a wound here, but it's like,
is it really worth it there?
It's-
No,
it's-
I
it's-
think
it just has a
I
2-up,
think
I mean, I didn't finish the game with any CP.
so. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too much. I want to talk about that in the after we talk about these games.
But I think I'm going to go back to trying Electro-Priests and transports, to use the transports to get up the board, to try to establish and control, while either like a Crusader or robots or whatever I decide that's going to be in that slot
yeah,
can move forward to support.
yeah,
And I think that's what I'm going to try going forward, because right now my firepower isn't effective enough to control the board, and I get buried on primaries and then secondaries.
okay,
Because I can't. I never control more than my opponents.
yeah, okay. What about you, Zach? What came from the game? Any good ups or downs that you learned from the army?
I took a secondary. We discussed it, and I read it, and I played it wrong. It was the what is it? Investigate sites,
Investigate.
where you have to be within 6 inches of the middle of the objective.
And nobody.
I didn't know you had to do that continually. I thought it was
Yeah, you
like
have to
raise the
perform-
banner.
You're deploying the action.
Oh,
to
so you have to do it like every
You have to do it
single
as
My
turn.
plan
Yeah,
was I was just going to run my Terminators to the middle of the board, take a turn off, raise the banner, and just let them stand there. Come
Yeah.
at me, bro, style.
yeah,
But I can't have 500 points worth of Terminators stand there
And do nothing.
and do nothing the entire game. Like, I
Yeah.
could, but that's not what they're for. They're definitely the biggest hammer in my army, so I picked that secondary wrong. Won't be doing that again.
yeah,
So it took him. Basically, what he ended up doing was, I mean, he had the time. He was just marching me down anyway. So I just marched the Terminators forward into my deployment zone. So I'm dealing with Terminators in my shit. And then he took the guard that were on this point and his other jet bike captain and basically swapped them. Moved the guard to the middle and the jet bike to that outside objective.
I think he got 6 points because he did it in the last 2 turns where he basically controlled the board anyway.
Yeah.
yeah,
But had he planned accordingly, he could have scored.
I think secondaries I'm still working on.
yeah.
I think probably the recon version, whatever that's called. What is that?
Engage on all fronts.
Engage on all fronts probably good enough, especially if I deep strike Terminators. I can probably do that pretty efficiently. Like I said, the While We Stand, We Fight has turned out to be really good for Custodes. Totally underestimated how good that one was going to be.
Yeah. No, it seems I definitely underrated that one, and it's been nice having people talk about that. And
Yeah, we all did.
We definitely pooped on it.
And then, like, I'm not real solid on other objectives yet. Like, I took the mission objective this time, and it worked out really well because he couldn't push me off the 2 center ones. So I just held. I got basically 4 points a turn for that,
yeah,
and eventually went and took his. So that's where I think I need to work on the most, is still figuring out what secondaries are best for my army.
are you happy with your list where it's at?
I'm gonna keep playing it. I don't know if it's perfect yet, but I like where it's at. I don't know if 2 Telemons is right, but it sure is a lot of fun to play them. So I'm gonna keep doing that.
Yeah.
Might drop the Telemon and go back to the Vixella, or maybe play another squad of Terminators.
I think the list full sweat would probably have another unit of bikes.
It could, yeah, you could probably.
I just know you're not a big fan of bikes.
I'm not
but-
a huge fan of bikes, but if turns out if I need engage in all fronts to be my secondary that I have to take every game, then the second unit of bikes definitely helps that.
And even a melee, they chop up a tank in no time.
Yeah, and it might
Well,
be
the
the
problem
salvo
is-
launchers might be the play from now on too, because in 9th edition, with the points, the Hurricane Bolter and the salvo launcher are the same, and there's no more movement heavy penalties. So
Yeah.
salvo launchers
Yeah,
seem
because it
a
seemed
lot
like you would
better.
always roll a
Yeah.
2 even though you were hitting on 3s. With Custodes, it's like,
Was that the exact same list you played against Troy?
no.
Basically,
He had the Vixilla.
I played the Vixella versus Troy, but
Okay. Well, let's move on to the Troy and Zach game. So that you said that was basically the list you played against Troy.
yes,
Yeah, one
Okay.
less Terminator, one more Vixilla.
yeah, I played the Vixella. I could have Terminator. There's something else. I don't remember.
Like you didn't run.
I don't think I ran full number of shields, maybe.
Or missiles.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I didn't run. Well, the
Well, that's
missiles are the same price.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, he did, but I just don't. I think model-wise, the only difference was the Terminator. He might have had different equipment.
So pretty close though.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
what were you
basically.
playing, Troy?
I played a battalion of demons, the Great Unclean One, the Lord of Change, and a Corn Demon Prince. 2 demons were exalted. 56 flag bearers, 2 squads of 28, 5 Nurglings, and
Okay.
3 skull cannons and 3 flies.
Okay. And how did you guys' game was really close though, right?
It was a weird game.
It
Yeah.
was really, really close.
So I definitely want to hear about it. But points, I know Zach, you won, but it was by like 1 point.
By 1 point.
It
By
was-
1 point. That's crazy.
68 to 67. Is that
Okay,
what-
so let's just Troy, or let's Zach, go ahead and talk about your part of the game first, and then we'll let Troy kind of talk about who went first actually before we go.
I think I did.
Yes, Troy went first.
Okay. Well, what did you do first, then Troy, and then we'll go to Zach and how he countered that.
Didn't move my Great Demon. I summoned. All I ended up doing was summoning 2 characters. I summoned the Sloppy Bob Piper, and I summoned a Changecaster. So my 2 Great Demons did that.
And how do the character summons feel? I feel like we can go ahead and talk about that briefly, and we can maybe
definitely
touch on it more.
It helps with attachments for sure.
Yeah.
Like, because otherwise you'd be basically playing command points for those characters, which is not where you want to be.
Yeah.
I don't know moving forward if I'll stick with it, but it's definitely something we're trying. And you don't always have some of those characters. Like if you got the models, you can just summon another squad of dudes, or
That seems good.
Well, we
attacks.
discussed like Zach didn't take assassinate because like the great unclean one, the demon prince. The great unclean one had a 4-up feel no pain.
Yeah, I had 3 characters when I
Submitted his list. Like here's what I have.
Yeah. So he
the
could.
bird has a 3-up.
The Great Unclean one had a 4-up.
and I only had
Feel
2
no
psychers, so that one didn't make sense.
Yeah,
either.
so he couldn't deny. He couldn't abhor the witch. Assassinate wasn't good. He's just like, ugh. Zach's like, I don't have a lot of good options here. And then Troy summons 2 characters. But like, say Zach decides like, oh, I know what Troy's up to. I'll take assassinate. Troy could just be like, I'll summon some horrors.
Yeah.
Like I'll just.
Yeah, that seems good.
Summoning seems pretty powerful.
good.
But it wasn't good in 8th, and I don't know what changed.
The command point, the battalion, the
detachment-
structure of
the
list
detachment
building.
structure. Because it was just easier to take those guys. You could deep strike them if you were in the same.
Sure. So
Because you were actually incentivized to take more characters and get more command
So
points.
now if he's got a battalion, he
But
goes,
now it costs command points.
I was like,
to do
that
the same thing.
seemed like nobody thought it was any good in
No.
8th, and it seems super good
Because it's,
Yeah.
just,
really good.
it's more reliable to just take the guys and get more command points for them.
Right. That makes
Before you
sense.
were just trying to get as many detachments. Now you're actually trying to cut it down. And the powerful thing, which I haven't really messed around with because I've been summoning shitty dudes, but summoning is within 12 inches of the unit that summoned it. So if you put a Greater Demon on the front line,
You can slingshot.
slingshot something out there 12 inches. But
Yikes.
you can't move, so that's...
Yeah. If you went second though and threw a unit of bloodletters and then
Yeah,
charged
you
them,
could-
that
you
could
could do
be
something like that.
woof. Just like a surprise.
yeah, but then bloodletters would actually be on the table and not die in the war.
I did leave my
You did let
blood
that.
letters off the...
That's one of those things, like, normally we just like, okay, go ahead and do it, but
It was a turn later.
It was pretty
it
far in.
was a
wasn't it?
turn later, and he did it the last game too.
Yeah,
He
I have
let
a
him take it
problem
back.
with losing the structure of which turn it is in the middle of the game, and I just...
So it's like Zach's halfway.
Like,
through
I
his
got one more turn to bring him up.
And Troy's like,
I was like, oh, this is turn 3, and I was like...
There you go.
I need to worry about, like, I need to try and remember that.
make,
That's
Yeah.
make a reminder. Or
I've
something.
definitely done that
I
multiple
keep
times.
wanting to get a whiteboard so we can.
I mean, we had one.
Oh, we bought a.
I need to... Next time, I need to put them... We have space on our table now where we marked it out. I need to actually put them on the table so I can see them. Because right now, I leave them off to the side. I don't really see them when I'm doing my movement phase. Don't really think about it. But they wouldn't have done much. Last time I deep striked him against Zach, he slaughtered all of them in like a turn. So.
Oh, he charged Trajan that game. It's like,
Oh, that was a terrible
yeah.
That
plan.
was like the only plan I think we had done. Yeah.
So anyway, on your first turn,
My first turn, I didn't do too much.
he walked play bears forward,
Yeah.
shot some skull
I
cannons.
assume Nurglings were already midfield.
Actually,
We
no.
had the corners deployment, and that is one of my big mistakes I made. We had the corners deployment with 5 objectives. There's one in the center, and then one in your deployment zone and one opposite your deployment zone. When I say corners, I mean the weird one with the circle in the middle.
Yeah.
So I took Raise the Banners. I put both my squads Plague Berries. One to try and take the one in the middle, and one to take the far one, which was a mistake. And I put Nurglings on the other objective that was right outside my deployment zone. Now, I didn't think about it until after turn 1, but they can't raise the banner because it specifically says infantry.
Yeah.
So that kind of caught me off guard. So I
Yeah, because
should've-
there's something. What are they called? Like
They're swarms.
Swarms. Yeah.
So they do still get minimum cover and everything. They just can't raise banners. So I
That
should
sucks.
have, I should have not gone for the middle and just sent a squad of plague bears out there, had a squad of plague bears stay home, but I didn't. So that was my biggest mistake. Skull cannons, they did a little bit of work. They don't do much against stoves though, because
Turns out that one
Yeah.
point, you
And-
know.
It sounds like this game is kind of a big slap fight between you two.
Yeah.
Not a lot of killing. So what about you, Zach?
Well, we
On the-
both. I think we both took Raise the Banners that game.
Yes.
But I was able. Troy didn't push onto the center objective on the first turn.
because you can't advance in race. So
You can't advance the race, so he didn't get on there at all. But I advanced, got onto it. So the next turn, all I have to do is knock off as many as I can. If I can get them off of it, I can raise the banners.
Yeah.
Obviously, that never happened, but custodians are objective secured, so I get that point, and then like we're fighting over that point the entire game. Like nobody's gonna have it, but I'm here now. And same thing with one of my dreadnoughts. I ran to the one outside my deployment zone and stuffed my dreadnought down on it. Then when he walks his plague bearers onto it, he controls that objective because my custodian's not objective secured and he's got more models on it.
Yeah.
But he can't raise the banner on it, and he can never kill the dreadnought. So I just charged the dreadnought into the plague
Just
bear.
punching plague bears, and they die, and then they come back.
I
And
never even got a wound on it. I don't even think he had to make a save.
But it was just a slog. You know, it's like every turn, Troy pick up 3 or 4 plague bearers and put them off, and then like that was just it. It was like he just whittled this. Like next thing you know, it's down to like 17, and then Troy got a couple back and brought them back, and it's like it was just like it was
Oh my god.
It's a robot
Just his dreadnought was just over there just punching plague bearers for 4 turns.
But I took the while we stand, we fight, and I put that dreadnought in combat. So it's like, unless he comes over with the bird and smites it to death, that dreadnought's going to
it's living.
It's
Don't
good.
lie.
60
right
points.
there.
It's going to kill 4 plague bearers a turn or whatever, and
It's going to give you 5 points
just
at the end of the game.
just deny you the raise the banner secondary points. So he'll try to make that.
That's good value.
Right.
That was
And I did the
ultimate
same thing with
value.
the custodian guard in the middle of the board. And then we realized that Nurglings can't raise the banner. So I deep struck my bikes over there.
Terminators.
I deep struck my Terminators over there and made my 9-inch charge because he had already killed my Vixel at that point. Then I'd take that objective, you run skull cannons in there to try to clean him, and Terminators just hold that one. I put the bikes.
Got the bikes in the back, and I didn't screen properly. I basically had the change caster sitting on the back objective.
Right. This is one of those things where he's not protecting his backline enough because he's moved everything forward.
'Cause
Yeah.
When it boils down, I really only had 2 squads of infantry. They were big, but
So, like, his plague bears never really got to fight over the middle objective very much because he had to double back to clean up his home objective because my bikes came in.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how the whole game played out. Was we were both just on the objectives, but everything's objective secure.
But he had the one turn where he sent in the Terminators and sent in the bikes, and he knocked me off, and I got, I think, 5 primary points.
Right.
Like, that was the big turn.
Because he had
Yeah, he got the one with the dreadnought on it,
Yeah.
and
And
I
you
hadn't
cleared
taken off
everything
the
else
most
up.
of
I hadn't
everything
taken the
else.
middle one back yet, so I was just stuck with
yeah, because my other dreadnought and one of my shield
That was
captains.
where the big fight of the game was.
Right.
Was the Great Unclean One took on everything in the
Yeah,
middle.
this is what we found out about Zach's consolidate away from the.
Yes, I'm taking the
just ran in there.
unstoppable destroyer.
He stabbed the Great Unclean One and then pieced out. And I was like, what?
Nice shirt, Holmes.
Troy was like, "How is this a thing?"
Wait, what is this?
He charged the Great Unclean One, fought him, and then consolidated 6 inches away from him.
3 plus D3. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Is that it's a stratagem?
No, it's just a warlord trait.
Oh,
No, it's not a
warlord.
warlord
Through
trait.
it.
It's the third version of the tank ace, whatever
Oh, you
it's
can give
called.
him
The
that.
shield captain, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
But did you consolidate like through a wall?
No, he's on a bike.
Oh,
Bike,
okay.
he can go wherever he wants.
Oh, he's just.
But I was still in combat with the
can't go where he
Dreadnought.
won't.
He also heroically intervened with the Dreadnought because I specifically did not want to fight the Dreadnought.
Right.
But
Yeah, I
apparently
can
he
see
heroically
PD.
intervened with
Yeah.
He's in
Same thing I
there.
did to you. But yeah, he can pile in and consolidate 3 plus D3. So
And it doesn't have to
Fight
be towards
the-
the closest enemy.
right. So I fight the Great Unclean One, and then I back up so he can't fight me back. But I leave my Dreadnought in combat with him, so the Great Unclean One can't chase him down either.
Yeah.
So he's just like, he gets to get in there and smack the Great Unclean One around for a few turns.
Did him
And
with a
back up.
drive-by.
And he gets his charge bonus to reroll wounds. Like, that's a super good.
Gross.
That's
I wasn't super high on it at first because I
Until
thought
what
that +2 wound one was going to be good, or his CP's back one was going to be where I wanted to be. But I think
Just being able to
Rolled up on a giant demon was like.
roll up, poke it with
shake.
the spear, and
but
get
being
out.
able to back up and then charge again the next, because now they fly, but they don't get to. You can't shoot if you fall out of combat anymore,
Yeah.
like you could in 8. So now just consolidating out of combat means you can shoot again if you don't want to be in combat with that thing and it doesn't chase you down and kill you.
Like,
Yeah.
you just shoot it again and charge it again next turn.
That seems good.
Oh my
That
God.
seems
So
good.
that's something I learned over the course of this week is that is Unstoppable Destroyer is really good.
Did the great Uncle One die?
No.
No.
Yeah,
He
he
had
had
a-
a 4-up, 4-up.
He has a 5-up invulnerable, and then he had a 4-up Feel No Pain because of the.
He's a house, so
I got him down
He's a
for
big
exalted
boy.
ability, yeah. He did get him low,
And then he
but
healed him.
I healed him a couple
You
times.
killed me, yeah.
Because I think he took down Dreadnought either in the psychic phase or combat.
The bird came over and smited it to death, I think.
No, he
I thought the bird went to the middle, smited it.
he smited the Vixilla.
He smited the Vixilla and the Custodian Guard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
flew
and
away.
then moved. But Zach has I rolled 2 double super portals, but Zach has a stratagem to deny it on a 4-up.
Yes.
So this is D6 damage, and he had all of his guys grouped up. And he's just like, don't care. So
damn.
that was big.
There was another point where Zach had Custodian Guard on the back point. And Troy flew the bird back there and then
Yeah.
denied it. And then they made enough saves in combat that one Custodian Guard lived.
Which was objective security.
Objective
So he
security.
still kept the
So
objective.
he kept that one. That could have been a difference in the game too.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
that's
eventually
great.
I did knock him off.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
good game, though. I mean,
point.
It was definitely smacking back and forth. I didn't pick great secondaries.
I don't think either of us did
Yeah, I don't think
particularly
Zach-
well on secondaries. So
I definitely missed on the raise the banners. I think I only got like 3 points out of it.
right, but we were both actively denying each other that one, which felt pretty cool, but
Yeah.
it sucked.
And
But
play
the-
capture the flag.
It was a game where like 60 units died
yeah.
in 5 turns.
Yeah, that's crazy.
On both sides. Like
On
on 6
both sides total. Like
Yeah.
He killed a lot of plague berries, but he never killed a whole squad.
Right.
But he,
So you still like the big squad of Plague Bears? I mean, I don't know
Well, I
what
haven't played against a bunch of blast weapons yet, which is what people are worried about. So against like guard would be the big one, and I'm not sure. I think you have a few blast weapons.
But you know, you don't
Yeah.
want to really go in and it's like you're not really
But
worried
just
about
giving him
getting
max
punched by a
shots on
dreadnought.
all, like when I play against guard, he's got basilisks, he's got wyverns, he's got tank commit. That's gonna be bad because he's gonna have max shots on all that. You're not gonna have to roll.
Yeah, but then he's also shooting at Plague Bears, so
It's true. Which
that's
is
I
okay.
have to shoot at plague bears. Though.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the point.
yeah, that's a big mistake I made against Troy is not shooting at the plague bearers like 2
Yeah,
turns.
you
Just
shot
a
all your
single
little
one.
shots at my knight when you should have been. Yeah.
If we
Yeah.
want to transition to what I think, I mean that's basically what our game.
Yeah, our game was
Yeah.
back and forth.
We can
The
transition
big
to what
turn, the big
what's
turn was when he knocked me off all the objectives for 1 turn. Like it was always just 1 turn.
Right.
But he got 15 in
Yeah,
primary
he-
and I got 5.
Yeah,
and
the
that just-
Terminators came in, the bikes came in, he swept him off those objectives. The same thing that happened to me.
yeah.
Knock you off, and then he gets 15 points. You get like 0 or 5, and then you're just.
I think when we get
Never
to
catch up.
when we're going to see in 9th edition is if you don't get 15 and your opponent does in primaries, you're going to lose.
I'm still
Yeah.
saying
I mean, I know that's the obvious thing, but if you
No, I
can both get like
understand.
10, but if you can get the main primary, the 15 in primary, I think you're going to run away with the game 90% of the time.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
So
you have to max out primaries. I feel like, and if you don't max out in primaries,
Because secondaries are too hard to max out. Like
Yeah.
it's just, you're not going to get 45 out of secondaries. It's just not going to happen. If
So-
you are, your opponent's
which
lost.
is why
Like,
board control and getting forward to getting objectives, I think, is so important.
yeah. So we can go into tech. I know I'll go not first because Zach's got something, but I do have 2. I've got a list of what I think I could possibly, in my opinion, I think it's going to be top tier list in the meta. And then if you're a Necrons player, I have a list that I have been like math hammering that I think should be good, and it seems to be all the roles we need as a Necron player and stays within points. But go ahead, Zach.
Well, we've been talking a lot, and it seems like everybody's pretty scared of playing hordes like plague bears and stuff with all the blast weapons. But I think that that's the opposite of. I think they've made blast weapons because the way 9th edition works is hordes are so good. Like I haven't played them, so I don't know. Like I'm talking about getting the Tyranids back out and trying it because it seems like you get something fast. You have to get to the objectives fast, and you just got to stand there. Like with Termagants, we're going to talk about Tyranids specifically here. You play like a lot of Termagants, probably 90 or 120 Termagants, and then like a couple of units of Zoanthropes with the 3-up invulnerable and the psychic abilities. You don't even have to max out the squads or anything, just minimum squads. And you run everybody up, and you just stand on the objectives. And you don't care if you ever kill anything. 'Cause you're just
they're
going to
not killing 120
a
guys.
lot of armies aren't killing 120.
Well, they're
It's just not.
they're within
Yeah,
sign-ups,
they don't
so
give
they
them
don't
any
have any
shots.
morale, and everybody's teching against vehicles. So I think hordes could be really good at the start of night. Everybody's scared of them, and I think by the time they kill off the Termagants, you're going to have your 3-up invulnerable homies there that can smite and psychic scream or whatever. start clearing out the good shit that finally got through all your termagants, and you'll have things like hive tyrants or whatever. But I really think just max a bunch of bodies is still really, really good.
But those are fast bodies. Like, you can take away those blast weapons just by getting into combat with them.
That's true.
Plague bearers are slow.
Like wrapping tanks is still good. Like they get to shoot their non-blast
not
weapons,
as good as it used to be, but it's still worth it.
but the blast weapons are what scare you.
Yeah,
So if you go and you shut down their blast weapon,
And they're
then-
shooting.
you're still in
Well,
good
and
shape.
and they're shooting heavy boulders at you at PS5, like whatever. Like
And they're 15-point heavy bolters now, so you're shutting down a lot
well,
more
yeah,
points.
against guard specifically, but like
Yeah.
anybody that's got blast, I mean, guard definitely has.
well, like we talked about
most
doom
of it.
crawlers. They were like, well, you just get to shoot your doom crawlers. Like, no, turret weapons are all blast. So like, I get 3 stubber shots if I take the stubber on.
the one
Yeah,
place
I
I
think
think
trash.
The one place I think is not the case is against Chads or Repulsors. You can just fall back and shoot. But everyone else,
Well, that's Ultramarines.
yeah,
Specific.
that's Ultramarines. Like,
Yeah.
Repulsors in general can't.
Right, not
Which-
anymore.
yeah.
and they could before. So I think Hordes might be better now than what they were at the end of 8.
I think you might be right. They're definitely strong.
That's
Not
valid.
that they were very good at the end of 8 either. I mean,
And
Marines were just.
Supposedly the
Yeah,
new
Marines owned.
Yeah, supposedly the new leadership actually helps Hordes.
It definitely does. No, it 100% helps Hordes.
I
Like,
don't know. I haven't had it work for me that way.
because you just lose a model and then you roll for each one. Whereas before you would just, if you
But
lost
that's
half
only
your.
only if you lost a lot of models. Like, the only place it actually helps is where it comes down to where you just in 8th edition you would have guaranteed lost like 12 models. If it comes down to like 8th edition, you would have just lost like 2. Now you're gonna lose. Way
Yeah,
more.
you could
like,
still lose
say
more.
I lose 10 in my.
Yeah, but if you just lose
Plague
2, you
bearers.
could pass morale pretty often.
No, he's
No.
saying that if you were to
If you,
fail,
if you
your
would have
morale-
failed morale,
Oh.
you would lose 2. Like,
Yeah.
if I lose 10 plague barriers, normally in 8th edition, and I fail my morale, I would lose like 3 or 4. In this one, I could still have 20 in the squad and lose like 15.
Yeah.
I mean, if you roll
If
you roll
but
really
I can't
bad.
roll extremely
But it
bad. I've
could
done
happen.
it before. I mean, we saw your dice the other
Not
day.
all of us roll 6s out of 9 dice. I mean,
So no, that's valid. I think that is a big thing. And how does that play against custodes, like mental hammering? Like
well, custodians could never kill 30 termagants off the objective.
that's what I'm saying. Like so you could just out
You just tie up the bikes and they can't fall back and shoot.
yeah
Like,
because they
so they fall back and then they take an entire turn off and then they shoot you.
Which
You're-
is-
the game's only 5 turns long. You don't have to survive forever.
Sure.
And zoanthropes have psychic spells, so
and,
like
yeah.
they can just smite custodians. Like,
you don't have to be
especially if
flashy.
you-
He's just
like I
trying to
haven't
get it
built the
done.
actual list, but if you have enough points to play a max squad of zoanthropes, that's what I played in 8th edition.
And that's the 3 plus D3
Right.
smite
Yes.
guys.
3
Yeah.
plus D3 smites, and then you can psychic scream on top of that.
I feel like he's
Or you
going
can
to
put,
the attic.
you know, catalyst or whatever on your gaunts or gene
So,
stealers if
I
you
was
want.
gonna say, would you run G Stealers, or you think they're not good?
I
enough?
think you probably still run a unit or 2 of gene stealers. Like really have to spend a lot of time on the list. I'm honest. I'm not going to do that until Battlescribe gets updated or something.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm pretty lazy.
Having to math it all out with a calculator is getting rough.
But I still think you probably play some amount of gene stealers because they're just so fast. You can get
But if,
anywhere
if
on
you're
the board.
covering so much of the board, like, you got to almost leave a pathway for these guys to get there. Now,
Right. Well, I mean, you just put them on the line and
Plus,
send them down,
yeah.
send them up the road. Like the Swarm Lord didn't go up in price as much as a lot of the Tyranid stuff did, so he's still
and
reasonable.
that dude's a beast.
And he gets the double move stuff,
He's got
so
a sword on his
he
head.
can slingshot somebody for it. It
does have
doesn't
a
have
sword
to
on
be
his
gene
head.
stealers, because all you need to do is take up space.
Yeah, that makes
He
yeah.
catapults.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't like. I
Oh,
remember one of the best things about playing Cultist was you just couldn't slog through them.
Right, a lot of armies.
I
aren't
think
built
that's
to
the-
do
I think
100
that's
plus
one of the
wounds in
same
a
thing.
Couple turns.
Everybody's scared of blast, but you can stop the blast weapons.
Yeah, and I mean, I
Like,
that's
tying
valid.
up a repulsor is not ideal because they got
No.
6,000
Yeah.
guns they can shoot, but
Yeah, that's a bad. That's like the
No,
not
but you can
example.
tie up a repulsor in a non-ultramarines, and they still can't shoot.
Well, they can shoot in
I
combat.
feel like
Yeah, but
I feel like most of those
But
weapons.
then they
aren't
can only
blast
shoot
weapons.
Well, I
6
think
of
the-
their 8 guns.
I think the
Only
first-
6.
Only
Only 6.
six.
It might be 5.
How many tanks do you have with 6 guns on them, Zach?
None.
One.
But it's not a. But I think everybody's super scared of blast, and I don't think if you're not into them and you just have to get beat on them for 3 turns, then yeah, it's bad.
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
I mean,
plague
it
bears
also
are
has
slow.
to be a
They're not
good
going to get
blast
into them.
weapon. I mean, just
But
plague bear blast
Tyranids,
weapons.
orcs, like, I think these guys are actually going to shine other demons. Like I just think Plague
even
Bears
if you get
themselves-
onto the objective and one model survives for a turn, you hold the objective. Like
They're not knocking that off.
all you have to do is score those 15 points 2 times, and nobody's coming back.
There's actually,
Yeah.
I think, 2 or 3 missions that say if you control the objective, you actually control it until your opponent takes it.
Yeah.
Like there's
Well, like
in the tournament pack. You
That's
can
how
leave
the
that
raise the
objective.
banners works.
Yeah.
Like if you can get on there without advancing, raise the banner, and then
And
they
if
just have
you-
to slog through.
And if you're there just to hold objectives, raise the banners is great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
what
It's
I'm,
like raise the banners, like they're not shooting anything anyway.
Kill
Who
my,
cares?
kill my 30 guys, please. And
yeah, that's
please
why I
waste
think
that
no,
whole
that's
turn.
valid. So I actually owned the army that I actually think could be coming out on top.
Orcs.
Is Thousand Suns.
Thousand Suns could be good.
The
No,
only
there is
down
a caveat to Psychers or to Thousand Suns.
Diabor the Witch.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I
because-
know.
And
I'm gonna talk. What else?
the Brotherhood of Psychers isn't in their rules at ninth. Their
That-
smites go up.
That's they don't need that much. They have enough powers
that's-
and a deep enough
Rules
toolbox.
still in effect, isn't it?
I think, from what I heard, was it's not in the 9th edition. It was just that all smites go up.
Well, we'll have to see
that
that.
was a core. That was a core rule book, and it's not in the core rules anymore.
It was an FAQ.
It was an FAQ. It wasn't even in the rules in the beginning.
Because everybody could smite as much as they wanted
Yeah.
at the beginning of it.
Well, then,
Yeah.
then I'm guessing the no. Then I don't know, but that it's not in the rules.
I would play under the assumption that they still get that rule because there's
Well,
no reason for them to lose it.
Either way, that's not
Because
even that.
I saw tabletop Titans playing, and their Grey Knights, they were going up on every smite and all that.
It does say in the book that it goes up
So
in the new book.
I would just assume that they're going to FAQ that personally.
Yeah,
If I was going to a tournament, you're not doing that.
It'll probably just be
Yeah.
part of their Legion trait or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, if
Whenever
we're playing games at
testing.
where we're at, then yeah, you can totally play them as they were.
But I don't think you have enough Psychers to spam anyway in Thousand Suns.
No, and
Very
I don't
expensive,
think
especially
it's
without
about spamming
Supreme
psychers.
Command.
No, you can still play Magnus. And
No, but
Supreme
I'm saying,
Command.
but without this,
You still play 3 HQs. They're
Before you used
insane.
to be able to Supreme Command, you could play Armon and then Sorcerers on Disc.
Yeah, you used to only play a Supreme Command. You didn't play a battalion. Now you just
And
play a battalion,
They
still play the
basically
same
made
3
discs
dudes.
free. Like Armon on disc is almost the same cost as
Yeah,
Armon.
which is insane. So Armon's crazy, right? The Thousand Suns Demon Prince is still really, really solid. He's got a great save. He's
Yeah,
a lo-
eventually they made all the other Demon Princes cost as much as him. Like, he didn't actually get hurt.
yeah.
So everyone else is paying for
For
4 of a vulnerable extra psychic power that they don't get.
Yeah, which is insane. I agree. He gets an extra psychic power. He's got the better save. He's just bananas, right? And I don't think you have to play him with double Malefic Claws or whatever anymore either. I don't even think loading him
I
out.
don't really think it's worth the extra 5 points.
Yeah.
But you can if you
So
want.
either way, I think you can load out. I think you play double Demon Prince Armon. I think you play a Zangor Bomb and you warp time that bitch across the board, and you just lock them on their line. Because Zangors are tough, they are absolutely savage in combat, and with the warp time, you can get them in the smaller board. They can basically cross the board on the first turn, and you can be tricksy with them. You've also got all of the Thousand Suns weapons are basically awesome guns or like medium guns in all the rest of Chaos, but with extra AP,
Yeah, even
which
their
is
bolters-
insane.
Their bolters are -2.
Yeah, so like all of a sudden, all their guns AP is bananas too. Like I would be playing
And
right
don't-
now
And
if
don't they
I
have rhinos?
Yeah.
So they can just
Yeah.
like. Well, I'm thinking that maybe there becomes a point in 9th edition where dudes in transports are good.
I think dudes in transports is probably the standard.
but you just have warp time in this
Well, but
army.
but
You
you
just
also just
Also,
put dudes in
their sergeants
transports.
are psychers, so I don't know if you want to be throwing them in a. But
Yeah.
It's possible.
So I think my list would be as like the 3 guys, and then I would probably play 4 infantry units. I think I would test it with 2 Zangor bombs and 2 units of 5 Rubric Marines, a full squad of 10 Rubric Terminators, because they're awesome. Like those guys are very durable, and you can put a -1 to hit on them if you want. And I mean, they're just a solid unit.
And
I can't,
Terminators is
what's their missile rack called thing? The Hellfire? Hellstorm missile rack. That thing's super solid. Like they're just a really well-rounded unit, and like that's just like scratching the surface.
How did points treat them?
Not bad.
Terminators, they get hurt, but it's still expensive to take.
Well, I mean,
Terminators.
just Thousand Suns in general.
No, they actually
Better
worked
than
out pretty
average.
well.
Yeah, you're almost playing what you were
Yeah,
already
Magnus went
playing.
20 points. Cool. Armon on disc is the same price as Arm on regular. And
He went down on disc.
Well, if
Some people argue
Custodes is the big boogeyman, then Thousand Suns is a pretty natural counter. So.
Well, and not only do they have the mortal wound, like they are a moving mortal wound bomb because like all of their infantry units are psychers. Their Terminators have a psyker ability. You've got the best psychers in your HQs in the game. Me personally, I wouldn't play it, but I've heard talk because Magnus got such a low increase that you just take him as your supreme commander as well in the army, and it's like so you're dealing with Terminators, Zangor bombs, Magnus. I
don't think you can take max squads Zangors in my opinion. I don't think you need that big because like 12 to 15 Zangors will do just as much as 30 Zangors.
Well, I mean 20 is kind of my Zangor bombs were always 20. If you're already taking over 10, I think 20 is a good number to just fluff your numbers a little bit to hold the line a little bit better, but not 30. I agree. Don't take 30. You probably don't have the points to take 30.
Because really, when you do, because what you can't do anymore that you could do in 8th edition was just charge everything and tie up the whole army. You're not going to pull off that charge anymore. It's not going to happen. So, like the smaller squad is almost just as effective, if not more effective, against what you're trying to do. But I agree. It does sound like a strong army.
Yeah, it feels like that army actually does everything.
Depends on how expensive that Terminator squad is. You're probably talking.
It was like 400 points. Yeah, it was like 400 points, but
I paid 400 points for 6.
Yeah, you're paying 400 points though, and they've got 40 or 20 wounds, right?
They got 2 each.
Yeah, I mean, so you got a lot of wounds there, a lot of toughness, and it's not just the Terminator squad. Like the Terminator squad is a huge problem for a lot of players, right? But if you play Magnus and you're playing Zangors that could just be slingshot at you, like you can't even necessarily deal with the Terminators.
Well, and you can play a Dark Matter Crystal, right?
Yeah, you can still play Dark Matter Crystal and just boom. And just, I feel like the army, and that's the thing, that's another valid, like the army has a lot of movement, like a lot of movement. And then you got like, I don't know about anything else, but that was like a Thousand Suns list I was messing around with before I sold them. And it's only gotten like better, like significantly better. And then you've got like Exalted Sorcerers, and they have some other solid flyers. Some of their other, like their heavy stuff is kind of
you might
garbage.
Actually just take Exalted Sorcerers over Demon Princes, just for the price of Demon Princes. And
what is the Exalted Sorcerer unit though? Like the elite? There's some sort of unit. It's like, is it Zangor Enlightened maybe?
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah,
the guys
they like fly around.
Yeah, you get 3 of them on disc, and they come with spears or bows. And I think the bows are actually really good because they auto wound on 6s, I think, and they're basically heavy bolters.
Yeah, so I mean, the army has like, I feel like there's not enough people talking about Thousand Suns because mortal wounds deal with the boogeyman, right? You're still throwing mobs across the table to counteract other mobs, and you've got some insane AP. Like that's the thing about that. But what made me think about it was I'm playing Necrons and I just want more AP on everything. And I was like, man, like Thousand Suns had all the AP. Like it was crazy. I like had to double check every time I was shooting a gun because I was like, this gun has AP too. Like
maybe nobody's talking about it. Is there secret tech?
Yeah,
we do have tournament players running a lot of these podcasts and stuff. Maybe
that's true.
Everyone's trying to keep it up their sleeve.
Yeah, I think if you're not testing Thousand Suns in your group, you're probably sleeping on something powerful. I'll go to my other list after we go to somebody else. Anybody who wants to talk about their techiness of 9th edition?
I mean, my techiness hasn't happened yet because they don't come out till Saturday. But I think the Eradicators are.
That's not tech. Everybody knows those are good.
I also think I also think the Assault Intercessors are going to be better than the normal Intercessors. The way I think the way, as we've been discussing this whole podcast, how melee armies are going to be broken, that having melee intercessors would be better than having just shooting intercessors.
I think
and they're cheaper.
I think in specific codexes like Space Wolves or Blood Angels was going to be another one that I mentioned. Like the movement in Blood Angels is obscene because everything take jump backs basically.
Yeah.
And everybody's super tank heavy at the moment, so just taking Smash Captains still destroy tanks. Like now you have to pay a CP to try to overwatch them. Like,
yeah, you don't even have to take the backpack anymore.
And they can still only do it with 1 unit. Like
right, exactly. So it's like I think Blood Angels with Assault Marines could be really good, but I think jump packs are.
But would you play Assault instead, or just dudes with jump packs?
I mean, if you want to play a battalion, because you probably want to play battalion, because
One squad is 100
the
points.
HQs are still really good. So you want as many as you can, but you still only want to be one detachment. So you're probably gonna you're gonna have some amount of troops. So, and you can't. There's no jump pack.
Yeah,
True.
right.
I mean, it's 2
You
points.
could do the
plus-
infiltrators because we talked about those before, where you deploy outside of your.
I think
deployment
those guys are
zone,
gonna be really strong.
which is really good. Like, but I can see where assault intercessors could be really good. I can see an avenue for them.
Especially you get the red thirst.
Yeah, you get +1 to wound. Yeah,
You know,
sure.
you got shock assault.
Woof.
Guys are getting in there.
Woof.
They're getting good.
So you almost do the wave thing where you send in all your jump pack guys first, and then these guys
Yeah,
kind of
you
bring
just-
up the rear.
Yeah, it's just to stop them. Like, I think thinking about people not getting to the middle of the battlefield, like being like, fucking, I'm gonna throw you 300 points. Handle it before you get to start playing the
I
game.
can-
Give me one turn.
Right.
I can also pay. I have a stratagem where I can pay 2 command points and go into the assault doctrine, and then being melee is better because when they're in the assault doctrine.
Does that stratagem still exist?
Yes.
They took some of them away.
The one that goes back.
The
There's
one that
always
goes
there's
back.
one that you,
I can always go forward, but
I
I
didn't
can't
know.
go
I just
back.
knew they took
I
some
can't go
away.
backwards anymore.
But that's another thing for Blood Angels is you have to move forward now. So when they get to turn,
They don't want to be in the heavy. They want to be
no.
in the
Once
light
they get
ones.
to turn 3, they get an extra attack on top
Yeah.
of all their attacks. Like it's just
Yo, bro, we're gonna be like attacks.
Besides that, we were talking off the pod about how, objectives are great. So, like, maybe if a battalion of scout squads, like 3 scout squads with combat knives, deploy them wherever I
Yeah,
want.
because you want to deploy them and you want to raise the banners. So you're not
Yeah.
shooting them anyway.
Yeah, they don't care.
Zach did that. He played Blood Angels with scouts with combat knives for a long
Heck,
time.
I could even
Yeah,
pay.
I mean they were just as fighty as intercessors.
I mean, they could even, like, you can spend. Camel cloaks went down. You could spend 10 points, give them all camel cloak, and make them even harder to kill. you
Yeah.
know?
No, I agree.
They're just
with
there
that.
for, hey, I got this objective, raise a banner, kill it. It's going to be a little harder because
Yeah.
they have they're -1 to hit, and
Anything that you can make
stall,
put your,
stall,
Yeah.
repulsor stuff.
or just put your opponent on playing to your game plan on the first turn.
You got to come to me, and you don't want to be in here where
No,
Bobby and these
I-
2 repulsors are.
But you say that. But imagine if somebody threw a blob on your line, right? Threw 300 points on your line,
Uh-huh.
and you waste your whole first turn shooting at that shit, and then they
they're
take
like-
all the objectives.
Yep.
That's bad.
I mean, yeah, it's not great.
So scouts,
yeah.
scout deployment,
And
is
scouts
still gonna
stop
be-
shit like that from happening. They
This guy
protect
here,
you.
They
put
do-
this
they
guy
do
here.
deny-
They insulate you.
They can.
I mean, I'm trying
That
to
could
try
be
to.
why they forced us back on the you go I go deployments because they knew how powerful.
I mean, Ultramarines castle
Primaries are
anyway.
gonna be.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
Well, they could have changed it.
You got any tech you want to talk
Oh,
about, Troy?
Like,
I mean, there's a few fast tag demons that I think are going to be really good.
Well, let's
I
hear it.
picked up some screamers. They have 16-inch move.
Whoa! I did not know that. Holy that's like the most movement I've
Yeah,
of any
16-inch
non-Lord
move,
of War.
4 of them vulnerable. They have a stratagem now to give them +1 to wound against vehicles and their strength 6 -4. They might-
Holy
and
shit.
they fly.
They
And
do
they
fly.
fly.
They do fly.
And if they fly over things,
Yeah, that's kind of whatever. But everyone that flies over a model, you can roll, and on a 6, you do more.
Well, that's cool. So it's free damage as
Yeah,
it
free
pass
damage.
over.
yeah, you're like, oh, I flew over the squad of intercessors. Oh, I did 2 more wounds, whatever.
one guy's dead.
I mean, I would have done, you know.
Also, I think. Also, I think
What interceptions?
fiends are going to be really good.
Okay, what are fiends?
There's a couple things. Let me look these guys up because I haven't.
Is this stuff
All right,
you
well,
could
we'll
do
let
with the-
Anvil. You got any hot tech?
I wouldn't say it's really hot tech, but on the AdMech front, I think Stellan Robots, the shooty version, real good. Actually, the punch robots might not be bad, because like Zach and I discussed in our one game, you just put them on the front because in their standard Aegis protocol, the protocol they start in, they basically have a 2-up, 4-up.
Yeah.
So you just put them on the front line, be like, shoot at them, I don't care. Because if you put them in invulnerable, on 6s, if you take the invulnerable save on a 6, it bounces back as a mortal wound.
Yeah.
So like whatever, put them on the front, you shoot at them. I'm going to march them forward to get to the middle.
And just rock 'em, sock 'em shit off the.
So you're either going to stand there and shoot stuff to death because their vehicles, they can shoot in combat now. So if you come at the robots, they still get 9 shots apiece in combat. You staple them down, they get 18 shots apiece in combat. Now, obviously, they're hitting on 5s if they're in combat, so it's kind of... But still, you're
That's a lot of shots.
a lot of shots.
Yeah.
So you just get them in the middle, either way, because the other protocol is they can't shoot and they can fight twice.
Yeah.
So they can just
Bop the shit out
they
of
can
stuff.
just bop the hell out of stuff. So just get robots. They're super durable. Get them on the front. Get them to the middle. Get them to objective, and just claim that as your own.
Would you play a mixed unit or just a unit of all punch guys?
I think you probably, being as your one battalion, I think you're going to end up playing just like multiple squads of robots, but like in one squad of shooty ones, because you'll want to put the different protocols on each, and it's for the unit. So you wouldn't want to just like be like, well, I got to staple these guys down, but now I'm stapling these punch robots, and they're just like sitting here like waiting for somebody to walk by, like, I will give you a punching. Come over here.
Yeah, but
You know,
that
like,
also is going to bubble out a huge portion of the table because you don't want to get punched by
Yeah.
them.
So I think there might be a point where you just commit your heavies, because the Doom Crawler went up like 35, 40 points. So it went up 35, 40%. And it can be tied up in combat, and all its weapons are basically blast weapons. So you basically just take a Doom Crawler out of combat as soon as you touch it. So the mortar boats are good, but I think with terrain and stuff, being as what they are in 9th edition, the line of the mortar is good, but everything else is. So you're paying $150 for a 3d3 mortar that's only -1.
2 damage, strength 6.
It's pretty good.
It's
That's
pretty
pretty good for 150 points.
But you got to look at how many slots do you have in your heavy if you're trying to get in one detachment. So it's like I could take that could be 2 robots. You know, so now I could be playing
Robots are heavy support as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they're like, so you could be like, okay, I could take 3 punch robots and 3 shoot robots instead of like 4 robots and 2 mortar boat. You know, so you might just end up just being Castellan robots are your
heavy.
Your heavy
This
of
is what
choice,
you do, yeah.
because of the increase in the other ones. I think the Cerberus Raiders are good, and if we can find the right list for them.
Yeah, I think it's learn how to play those.
Well, you know, they're not.
I think you don't run minimum squads either. I think
For 15 points apiece, probably not.
Yeah, I think you want like a squad of 6, squad of 5, something like that.
As long as their leadership's not hot garbage. I don't know what their leadership is.
leadership's hot garbage, but
But still, like 5 or 6, like
they're 3 wounds each.
Woof. Yeah, yeah.
But they're T3.
For 15 points, they're 3 wounds apiece, and they get a free.
The worst unit ever.
Jesus.
They're T3.
God damn it!
This is what happened when you read them off.
Oh my god! I thought they were 2 wound models.
No.
They're T3 with a 4-up save. So the problem is pretty much.
They cost the same as 3 guardsmen.
Yeah.
There are 3 guardsmen though. Like
But
they get an extra free movement. We've established the guardsmen are insane.
they're basically a squad of guards for 45.
Yeah, that's amazing.
5
That gets a
cheaper than a
free
squad of
move.
guard.
That gets a free 12-inch move.
5 points cheaper than a squad of guard.
I'm just gonna start.
And they get a
they
12-inch
move 12
move.
they move
And they
20
get
points
snipe
on the first
characters.
They-
Like
They can move it.
pistol characters. Pew, pew, pew.
They
Well,
can
move in advance on the move.
Well, I'm saying they get a free movement phase. We'll just
Yeah.
call it a free movement phase. But they can also pew pew
So a
characters.
minimum of 24 on
So
the first
they're
pack.
so good. You should definitely be playing.
I can move half the table.
Their durability.
Should be all your troops.
That should be. Are they counted as infantry?
Can we build
No.
a swarm
okay.
army out of?
Are they beast stuff? Because beast sets should get the benefits from terrain too.
All right, read off your stat sheet there, Troy.
Fiends? Okay.
Let's read fiends before I flip the
14
table
inch
built
move.
into the wall.
14-inch move is the big one. 5 of them vulnerable. Strength 4, toughness 4, 4 wounds, 4 attacks. So already pretty good stat line.
Yeah,
40
yeah.
points for 1, and you can run them in a squad of 1 or more.
Okay.
-1 to any Psykers within 12 inches.
Whoa, that's pretty good
Yeah,
actually.
they always fight first in the fight phase. That's all Slaanesh demons. And they you can't fall back from them unless you can fly, which I think is also
Oh my God.
surprisingly
What?
powerful.
Unless you're on a bike.
That seems good.
Those can fly.
Yes.
That seems really good. Wow.
And so their attacks aren't like amazing. Strength 4, -1, 2 damage, but it's -4 on a 6. And they also have 1 attack with their tail, which is -3 D3.
That'll never hit. His tail's
It's not an additional attack though. So you get 4 attacks.
Oh.
One of them is the tail. You don't have to use the tail. I don't know why you wouldn't.
I played Tyranid enough to know
Yeah,
the tail.
it's not the additional tail.
Zach's tail's never dealt a wound.
I know
What?
they have a stratagem for him, but I don't remember what it
Zach
is.
might as well never roll the tail on generated.
It's
Yeah.
same with Misericordias.
Yeah.
He always picks a
Yeah.
dice that's different color.
Cerberus
That could
Raiders
be-
are cavalry.
Okay.
Also, yeah, these guys are beasts, so they can move through terrain.
Through
They can
terrain.
get the cover from terrain.
That's awesome.
So I think they're going to be big.
That seems really good, dude. That's good tech.
And if you play them next to a Slanesh character, which would probably be like a Keeper of Secrets or something, that also moves 14.
Which is insane.
Yeah, they can move in advance. If the detachment's built
But I
right.
think 3 are 47 points.
Or advance in
That
charge.
ballpark.
They can
I think that's what they went up to.
They
but-
seem really good.
but
The
they're-
Cerberus Raiders seem.
But they're T4.
I think a squad of
3
three of them is
wounds.
kind of meh.
They're T4?
T3. Sorry, T3. 3 wounds.
I was about to
Weapon
fucking
skill-
lose
weapon
it.
skill
Flip
four.
the table.
Oh,
Weapon
okay.
skill 4.
Okay.
The name of
Weapon skill 4.
They
They shoot on 3s. 3 wounds. They have 1 attack. The alpha has 2. And they got a 4-up save.
All right. What's their pistol?
Well, only 1 has a pistol.
Okay. What's their weapon loadout?
He has a 12-inch pistol that's strength 5 minus 2, flat 2 damage.
That's the character pistol.
That's the yeah. And, Well,
Okay.
they can all target a character.
How many shots does it get?
1.
One shot.
Okay. So
it's
what
pistol
is what do the other guys have?
They have assault carbine, which is 401, but
401? That's pretty good.
6s are minus 1 AP.
We're gonna talk about
That
how
is-
we're gonna talk about how these guys are 15 points cheaper than a squad of cultists.
And I didn't even want to talk about it. I didn't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, and
They cost what Grots cost. Like, come on,
well, I'm
man.
saying they're really good, but I'm not sure
And
The problem is
when you're running them forward how durable.
Amber's
they
gonna
can
have a list
The
of
problem
30 of
is-
them next week. They're just in there.
Anvil's problem is he's been running the Cadillacs, or what are they called? Not destroyers.
breachers?
The breachers.
You're basically
Which they're T5.
T5 is good.
Everything in his army is
Everything's
at least
T5 or above.
T5. So he runs these T3 models that are really good, but they're T3. So
everybody's wounded on 3s.
And
everybody's got quality shots against him. He's like, well, this shit's trash.
you only played one game, and they were really the only thing you could shoot at besides flyers.
Oh
Imagine
my
if you had, like,
goodness.
Like
Give
the
those
rest
just
of your army was hidden behind a
No,
wall.
I'm just saying.
so,
I'm not saying they're trash, but I was
But
like,
you were.
well, they just got obliterated by no AP shots, and I was like, God, this sucks. Everything's just they're just like dying like
I
garbage.
wish Guardsman had a 4-up save.
So salty.
talk about a
Oh yeah, they have a better save than.
Cultists. They do. God.
So they're good,
I get
and
10 brimstone
they're
hordes for
mobile.
50.
But,
Yeah.
The problem, like Troy said though, you're AdMech, you're not real immobile. So if you run them out there, they're the only thing that's in your deployment, and they're
No. The way you deployed, everything else was hidden. Like you could have put more stuff on the line.
Well, should have put robots on the line,
Yeah.
but still, even then, you're going to run them forward, and they're just going to put.
Maybe you don't do it on the first turn.
Well, and you said they have 12 inches of movement, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
You could wait a turn. You don't have to.
Well, no. You do. What he did was right.
If you don't, then Zach just
I
takes
think-
the objective.
I think what he needed to do though was consolidate them away. Like
Yeah,
once he
that's
saw
kinda what
Zach make an approach on the first turn, he should have just been
Time
like
to
galloped
go.
his ass across the board.
I think you should have put them both on one side, or ran a squad of six. Because they're as a squad of 3,
six.
they're really hard to kill, or they're really easy to kill.
Squad of 6.
Still
That's-
9 wounds
It is
in a
9
squad
wounds.
of
It's
3.
only T3, and that's all you present.
Like how often do you not kill a unit of guard? Like it happens.
like,
Like
every time
one
I
shot
shot
guard.
I've shot my dreadnought out and not killed them.
Yeah.
It's definitely a
18
thing.
wounds to kill though, and they're moving 20 inches.
Ah.
a turn.
We got 6 of them, or just 2 squads of 3, because then
But-
they have to split their fire. and
But
everything,
that's. I think there is a place for them.
I think sending one to
Definitely.
each of them.
Yeah.
Every list ever.
100%.
But it's weird because I don't think it kind of fits in with what the AdMech list is going to be. It's going to be. There has to be. You got to find the right
I
list.
think the admin's list is going to have to adapt.
I think
Well,
the
that's what I'm
admech.
getting
I
at.
think
Instead
yeah.
of 9th edition adapt.
I think the admech list is going to go from being heavy and sloggy to agile. Like you've got the planes too, which are
Well,
fucking
and
awesome.
I played the 2 planes. They were
Two of
good.
the little raider guys too that are pretty good.
Those are the Raider guys.
No,
The dragon.
The Terrax guys.
Yeah, Terrax. That's what they are. Little wing guys.
Well, yeah, those guys look good too. But this is an older unit though.
The Terrax with the
They can, like,
flamers
scout move
seem
on the
decent
first
too.
turn.
So.
The infiltrators.
He's just
Yeah,
going to
infiltrators.
call around the whole
They're not
board.
very good.
You know.
Like they're T3 just dudes that get to. Well, actually, they get the.
T3 guys
they
are
get-
some of the best guys in the game.
They get the deep strike. They just get to hide.
You forget how many tables you were throwing models off the table against my T3 guys. Just don't forget
T3
that.
guys can win games.
But they just they get to hide basically.
Yeah,
So and they pop out of ambush.
that's kind of cool.
So,
I
but
don't
they're
know.
Not very.
Don't they have arc pistol things?
The tasers they go off on sixes. Yeah. But the points weren't super kind to them.
Okay.
I mean, I'm saying it's like a lot of people are kind of like, eh.
Points weren't super kind to anybody.
That's true.
That's not true.
Well, except
Yeah.
for Stokes.
And
Death
like I
Guard.
said, there's a couple of armies that
I
came
think
out of
Death
it.
Guard still got. I don't want to say hammered,
So,
but they got hit by it.
and on, I think people are still going to want to, based on how AdMech ended 8th edition, you're going to want to keep trying to cut dune crawlers and the mortar boats in your list, and I just don't think that's where it's going to be.
No, I
I
agree.
think it's either going to end up.
I think
with-
people are always going to play Dune Crawlers because everybody's got them because that was the start collecting model.
Well, you only have 3 heavies, so
I think the list.
kind of your choice. Like,
I think the list is gonna. If I could predict an AdMech list, it would be a bunch of robots, a bunch of the fucking those hound guys, cavalry guys, and the planes seem really good. And outside of that, I think it's just other small mobile units. I don't think it's any. I think you just put all your eggs in the robot basket on being big and slow, and
I think
everything
the
else
true
is fast.
Are the priests elites?
yes.
Yes,
Are the new guys fast attacks?
yes.
There's
There
your,
you go.
There's
Well, but that's what-
robots.
I think
Yeah.
you run 2 squads.
Those
of
guys-
robots.
Agreed. I
Transport,
agree.
so
I
I
think
would
that's
say-
it. It's like almost a horde army versus.
I would say 2 squads of robots, 5 each with a punch
It'll
robot.
play completely different.
I think that's
like
I think
that's like a
that's a lot of.
1,000 points is fine. That's
I
what you
think-
gain.
Yeah,
That's
I
more-
think
but
I
you
think
don't
you
need
just,
the heavy
that's
one.
1,500 points.
I think you just play 6 robots.
They are
Is it really?
125 apiece.
Each
So
robot.
10 is not 50.
It's 1,250.
Sorry.
Math.
1250.
That
My
math
bad. I'm
checks
sorry.
out.
You don't run call, you just run cheap HQs.
Yeah, I don't. Well,
I don't know if you run 10 robots. I think 6 might be the sweet spot.
10's 1250.
I think you run 2 squads. I think they need to be
I think you run a squad of 4 and a squad of 2 boopers that just stand out in front and protect
I
the
don't think you
shooters.
play any of that. You just shoot.
You just
Yeah,
shoot the whole time.
yeah.
Well, then just play
I
one
agree.
big squad of
You
6.
just like double down, you staple down, you shoot them out.
Yeah,
I
they,
agree
they
with
don't.
Zach.
They don't even get tied
Squad
up.
of
They
6
just
just shoot.
in combat.
That's true. That's
But
true.
they're minus, like I said, they just hit on 5 instead of 4.
Well,
18 shots.
No, I'm just saying they go.
Yeah.
Their downfall is they go.
Anything that's going to tie them up for the most part is going to die to
But,
whatever they
but
shoot.
they.
I put my whole squad of Terminators in against robots once. And killed like 3 robots over the course of the game. Like they're really hard to kill.
Well, as long as you don't staple them.
Even then, they're.
Well, you staple them, they go to having the 5. They go to having a 3-up save, and then the AP starts to pile up. So they get plus in their normal protocol.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
get +1 to save
But
rolls.
they get double shots, so they'll probably kill them before.
Well, not the Custodes Terminators
Right.
probably, but normally.
Yeah, but if you
Most things that would tie up robots.
if something
would
that's
go
coming
down.
if something that's coming at you and it's going to hit you with a lot of hard AP, you probably won't want to staple.
Like,
you
I don't
want
even
the
remember
+1.
being able
think
to take
that's,
them out with a
uh,
demon print.
I think that's an acceptable list. We should probably
But
work on
Like, I
that.
think you go patrol.
But I don't think we need to build
I
that
don't
list
think
right
you need
now.
a
Yeah.
battalion.
no, but
yeah.
I'm just saying. I think the army is going to go one of 2 ways. You're either going to put like priests in boats and run them forward with like raiders and stuff, or you're going to put
Yep.
plasma vanguards in boats and roll them forward, and then just jump out and have 2 plasma guns. And,
Yeah, both seem okay.
well, I mean, it's just like
No, I like plasma. Zach might not like plasma. I like plasma. I think
That's just
plasma's
not
good.
what that army's good at.
It's not bad at it
If
by
you
any
wanna
means.
play
Clearly,
like-
we don't know what the army's good at yet. Because, I mean,
Well, because it's good at everything. The problem is
Yeah.
picking out which thing it's best
good
at.
It's good at shooting. It's not really great at melee.
It's
Well,
not bad.
It's really good at movement, it turns out.
we're
God
about
damn.
to find
Yeah,
out.
it's not great at melee. Let's put it that way. It's just
Let's run a fucking Vanguard
Well,
with
when
all
they
the
play
damn
against
horse dudes you
Tyranids
can.
next week,
Max squads, like 3 of them.
So I've got my other tech for this week is it's a full Necron list. This is what I'm going to be playing my next game. It is built to pretty much counter all secondaries. Was kind of the idea behind it, and be able to try to. So I've got some choices in here. You're gonna go why, and I'll get to them. So it is just a single battalion list. It plays the Catacomb Command Barge, which we had talked about, the HQ.
Well, why?
Why? Because
I was going to say that, so I figured I'd get it out of the way.
insane movement. obviously. It's mainly the main thing is the big movement and the commands, the wave of commands it can do while moving with destroyers and stuff, because now destroyers can be wave of commanded. Anything can get +1 to hit, so that's insane. So the command barge can now move up, fire a pretty, I'll tell you its gun. It has its Gauss cannon, which is a heavy 3, strength 6, AP 3, D3 damage at 24-inch range. Now I've got the command, or the chapter whatever thing, the dynasty, where if I'm at half range, everything's an additional AP. And
that it hits on 2s, right? Because it's a character.
Yes, hits on 2s. And so it just seems ridiculously good. And it's got the Staff of Light, which is also 12 inches. So if I'm within the half range of the Gauss cannon, I've got a Salt 3, Strength 5, AP 2, Flat 1. So that's a lot of firepower on a 130-point unit.
Yeah.
And then I've got one Overlord because it's super cheap, and it's got the one-time use, throw across the board, spear. And he also has the Warlord trait where he can target a character. So if anybody's playing like a low wound character, like a low wound Warlord, I can just try to snipe him, and in one shot is kind of my thought on that. And being able to target characters just seems good. Like if I got like 1 or 2 wounds left, he can just say, well, I can hit it and kill it. So I'm testing that. And then I'm running 4 troop units, the 3 Immortal squads, and 1 Warrior Bomb. I'm trying a full 20 Warriors. I think also with Blast, like, it versus anything with reanimation protocols is not good, because they have to kill them all.
I think most blast weapons are still supposed to go towards tanks, so being scared of them as a horde army is kind of weird. Like,
Yeah, but wyverns and stuff.
like wyverns are going to terrify you
But they did anyway.
if you're going to play hordes, but they were already good against you.
Yeah.
But like things like battle cannons or basilisks, they don't want to be shooting at warriors or termagants.
Yeah.
They want to be shooting at stuff that's going to kill them or kill your other high priority. But I think people are too scared to blast.
Yeah, and I'm trying to deal with, or see how this is going to work with the Warriors. And I forgot my my Warlord weapon is, or tool is the cloak that lets him jump across the void cloak or something. Lets him jump across the board. So the idea is to slingshot the Warriors into my opponent's line and and stop their first turn, basically. Just stop them and throw the spear at something. And then that's just like a throwaway unit. You know, I'm okay with that. So anyway, we go into elites. I've got a Triarch Stalker, which is the thing that gives rerolls. Once it targets a unit, everything that shoots at that rerolls 1s. And there's no range. It just, you get to reroll 1s if you shoot at that.
Good.
So that seems really good. Fast attack. I'm running 2 units of 4 destroyers and 1 heavy destroyer in each one. The main reason is points. Heavy destroyers went up to 40 or 50, and destroyers went up to 60. So it saves me 20 points per unit.
It's cheaper to take a heavy destroyer?
Yes, it's cheaper. And a heavy destroyer is actually, it's not bad. It's not as good as a destroyer, but it's still a heavy 1, strength 9, AP 4, D6, 36-inch range. So if it goes to AP 5, anything that doesn't have an invuln doesn't get a save. It just kills it. And it's still a flat D6 damage, and it still gets the reroll all failed hits and wounds whenever I burn that on it. So it seems really good. I'm excited about that. And then I'm running a unit of 5 Tomb Blades, specifically to stay under that size. Same thing with the destroyers. I ran 5 instead of 6, 2 units of 5 instead of 1 unit of 6, and then throw points somewhere else to stay at that size 5. Tomb Blades are super mobile, and I'm actually playing them with Gauss cannons instead of Tesla. I don't think Tesla's is good right now. There's not enough people playing lots and lots of models to justify, the Tesla on the guns, because a lot of times they just don't wound. So the Gauss is 24-inch rapid fire, and if it's in rapid fire range, its stats are 2 shots at strength 5, AP 3, damage 1. So that's 10 shots, and the unit's only 140 points, so it seems really good for 10 strength 5, AP 3, damage 1 shots.
It's going to destroy some Marines.
Yeah, and that was kind of the idea, is the extra AP is for the meta. Like, I think right now I want it to be, and honestly, like, you have to roll 6s to Tesla, and it doesn't happen that often, and you get the same amount of shots. So that was my justification there. And then my last slot, which kind of has the rest of my tech, I'm running 3 heavy destroyers to stay under the 3 vehicle thing. So my third heavy is a triple heavy destroyer unit, which once again I said their points were down. So it's 3 of those strength 9 AP 3 D6 shots, or D6 damage shots. And then I'm running 2 instead of Doomsday Arcs. I'm running Tesseract Arcs because they have an extra toughness. They have 2 extra inches of movement. They don't have any penalty to moving and shooting their big gun, and their big gun is still Strength 8, AP3, or Strength 8, AP3, D6 damage, right? Like, it's still a respectable gun at 48-inch range.
Respectable.
So at 24 inches, it's an AP4 weapon. I mean, I feel like that's all you really need. And I can move it around. Like I said, it has a 5-up invuln and quantum shielding, so good luck shooting at it. And if you want to touch it, it's got gravitational flux, which when resolving a charge against a model with this ability, roll an additional d6, and you have to discard the highest d6 you have and pick that one. So you roll 3d6, pick the bottom 2, which makes it really hard to charge it.
Zach's gonna roll one.
Yeah, so the idea is, and it also has, so I don't quite have the rapid fire 5 guns where I was shooting like a whole shit ton of shots off the side of the Doomsday Ark, but it does have Gauss cannons on there, and it's got, I believe, 2 of them. Let me confirm that. Yeah, 2 Gauss cannons. So I'm shooting heavy 6, strength 6, AP3, D3 damage from those. So 6 shots at that, that's good, consistent, respectable firepower. And if I'm at 12-inch range for some reason, they're AP4 also. So it's just like a shit ton of AP, a shit ton of movement. It's super durable, and it has a flamer profile that's assault D6, AP2, and it always wounds on a 2. Period. So it just auto hits D6 shots, and it always wounds on a 2. That's its weapon's like special profile, and it's 1 damage. So that's my like hot Necron tech. The army is insanely mobile. Basically everything flies except for the troops. So good luck dealing with it. Everything's got 8 or 10 plus inches of movement outside of the troops, and then I've got the cloak to jump the guys on there. A ton of stuff has reanimation protocols. There's only 2 characters, right? So you're not really getting characters. There's only 35 infantry, so you're not really getting any infantry stuff. My Immortals are tanky as hell when they're on an objective, so I can do raise the banners is kind of the idea with the Immortals. 5-unit bombs, just put them in cover if I can, raise the banners, and let them sit there. The Triarch Stalker lets me pick a high-value target if my opponent plays like a knight, or like the bikes, if I'm like, I have to kill the bikes, I can shoot at it. My whole army can shoot at it, reroll 1s, and I can pretty comfortably assume I'm going to kill whatever it shoots at. So, anyway, that's my tech for Necrons. I don't know why people are so down on them. I think they seem to be a pretty solid army. I'm not really sure, what the question is there, but I may be missing something, or I may just be, I could just be totally wrong. But it seems like the army fills all the holes outside of Mortal Wounds. I wish I had Mortal Wounds, but I can't justify putting any of the Necron, like, Psyker stuff in there. It just is too expensive. Does anybody else have anything? Good?
I guess I'll mention on Astra Militarum, Bulgrin are going to be really good. Probably ought to be playing those if you're playing Astra Militarum. I think I mentioned that last week. They're still going to be really good. They went up like 1 or 2 points. I expect them to go up way more than that.
And you always just take the flat 2-up shield now, right?
You'd really have to be hard pressed. It's 5 points to take the brute shield, and I don't think, if you have extra points, I guess they're better than track guards on something, I would imagine. But I won't be doing
You're just picking slab shields.
I'll just be taking slab shields.
Well, especially because the model just has a tank the hit now. Even if it doesn't take a wound, was kind of my thought. So
yes,
since you can't pivot back and forth, it makes it.
Yeah, it's a lot less good, but I could see the value if you really wanted it. But I don't think it's worth it.
No, it is just for the phase. So the next turn you can.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's for the phase. So.
But you can put 4 of them in Chimeras. You can put 4 of them in Valkyries. Valkyries, Squadron.
Yeah,
so
we talked about that the other day. Valkyries might be a big thing again.
So you might be able to do some. You can play more than 2 flyers because they Squadron.
Yeah,
so
motherfuckers.
Which is like the main problem with flyers, I think, right now. They're actually good. It's just detachment-wise, it's becoming difficult to take a lot of flyers.
Right.
I think they're really good in 9th edition, but
that's all I'm gonna say. Like everybody knows that tank commanders are good, demolishers are good.
Yeah, the good stuff is good. No, that's good tech on the Bulgrins, and I like that. So, I guess my question for you is, what is your hot tech? What is the thing that you don't see people talking about in 9th edition that is going to be super awesome? And this weekend, so we're going to be, I guess that you won't get this. Well, we're doing a 24-hour stream. You will have missed. Actually, I'll probably release this tomorrow just to get it out ahead of time. We're doing a 24-hour stream on Sunday. It's on the Twitch channel BR1NXL, and we're giving away an Indominus box. You just have to be a follower and just come in and watch. So if you want a chance at a free Indominus box, hit us up. Check that out. It's all day on Sunday. I'm going to try to build, or I'm probably going to pre-build, but I'm going to try to paint 3 boxes of Necrons of the Indominus, and Chad's going to build like 3 models. So
we're giving 3 is the line 3.5. Is that what we're doing?
That's a lot. For Chad.
Yeah.
Build.
I'm going to say he builds less than 1 model every 2 hours.
Ooh. Well, he's going to be here 20 minutes before their whip gets cracked and he has to go home. So.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I got to put it on time. Say he spends 6 hours here, he might get 3 done. But he'll have 2.5 done, though, for sure.
6 hours.
If he spends 8 hours here, he'll get 3 done.
I will get all of the Eradicators and the Assault Intercessors
All right, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
From 3 boxes?
Not-
From
not-
3 boxes?
Slap.
You said all.
I'm only getting 2 boxes.
Slap bet.
So I'm only getting 2
Are you
boxes.
taking the
Slap
slap bet?
It's only
Okay.
26 models. He
So
might
like
be able to-
26, and all I'm doing is building them. I don't know if I'll have
So
time.
that's only a little more than 1 an hour if he's here the entire time.
Slap bet.
Yeah, he won't
It
slap
won't
at
be
it.
that. No slap bet.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
knew.
because we know it's not going to
I
happen.
also, I'll have to read the instructions.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Anyway,
The
so
numbered
that's
pre-built-
twitch.tv/BR1NXLL. My Twitter is LLBR1NXLL, just so you know. And Anvil, what's yours?
At Evilbeard.
Zach,
Mr. Fingerguns on Twitter.
Troy,
At Viking Hard On.
Chad.
Everything is at Chad B. McKenzie, and my Twitch at Chad B. McKenzie will also be hosting his this weekend. So if you see mine as well, you'll see the same thing you're seeing as go to the live channel.
There you go. And we have a Facebook page, Tactical Reserves. So we will see you guys next week. Like I said, maybe we'll see you this weekend. Hit us up with a question or let us know your hot tech. Maybe we can try it out. Have a good one, y'all.